Alright, welcome back, guys. Today we're taking a look at this classic solo from Judas Priest. The song is You've Got Another Thing Comin. This came from 1982 in the Screaming for Vengeance album. This was the first album I'd ever heard from the mighty Priest, and I think to this day it's still my favorite one. So we're going to take a look at this solo. It's got a lot of great cool licks in it, and I'm going to show you how to approach even some of the weirder things in this solo. Alright, we'll get to that in just a second, but before we do, check down in the description. I've got a free gift for you guys. It's called 5 Blistering Licks to Light Up Your Fretboard. And these are some awesome licks. Style of Van Halen, Randy Rhoads, George Lynch. There's a Marty Friedman lick in there. I think you guys are really going to dig this. Go check it out. It's completely free. You'll get the tab and the Guitar Pro for these. Also, if you want the tab for this lesson, the Guitar Pro and the PDF tab will be available over at my Patreon page, which is in the description below as well, the link for that. All right, let's get started. We are in the key of F sharp minor here, and they're basically, you know, you got the basic rhythm of the song going on behind us. It's kind of a driving thing for the first part. The second half, you get the chorus. Those are all chords from the key of F sharp natural minor. So there's the minor scale is in play here, although most of this is played with the minor pentatonic and blues scale. So let's get started. Now I'll give you a little heads up on the recording, and what I'm going to show you at the end is how to approach a lick that is somewhat strange. So if you are a guy who is trying to cover this and play it live, the way that it was recorded is really unusual. And so I could almost guarantee that this was improvised in the studio. It may have even been comped together from several takes. And Glenn Tipton, the guitar player here, does not play that lick the same way as the recording. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to approach it to get a similar sound, but maybe not the exact notes. Now, having said that, I have tabbed out the correct notes that are on the recording if you absolutely want to replicate every little nuance of it. You'll have the tab for that. But that's not how I would do it, and that's not how Glenn does it anymore. We'll get to that at the end. Okay, so just a little forewarning there about that. And you might notice, too, on the recording, I kind of did that. I improvised that last lick. So if you did notice something a little different, that's why. So what we're going to do here is go up to the 22nd fret. We're in standard tuning on the high E string. If you only have 21 frets, that's okay. You can just bend it a half step more. We're going to go a whole step here. And I think this is how Glenn does it. I've seen people say to bend the 21st fret up a step and a half. But the videos I've seen show Glenn Tipton playing this at the 22nd fret. Either way, what you're trying to get is just high E note. So you're bending 22 up a whole step. You're going to do that on the 4th time. Add vibrato, but the first 3 times you just bend it up, and then add vibrato on that last time, the 4th time. And once you do that, you come off of that and come down to 17 on the high E and 19 on the B. This would be kind of out of position too of of the minor pentatonic scale in the key of F sharp. So just in case you're wondering. So again, here's the first part. Okay, now we're going to move down to that first position, F sharp minor pentatonic box, but up an octave. So think 14th fret on the low E string. Let me just play through the scale here. 14 to 17 on the low E, 14, 16 on the A, 14, 16 D, 14, 16 on the G, 14, 17 B, and 14, 17 high E. You'll also notice some blues notes in this solo. So think about that one at the 15th fret on the A string. You're going to see that. And this one is fairly prominent at the 17th fret on the G string. Okay, so you're going to see some of that too. So the next lick, so we just did this. Whoops. Now we're going to play this lick. Kind of a Michael Schenkery type of lick here. And I've seen Glenn play this a couple different ways too, where he bends it like that. But we're gonna play this here, and we'll get really close to the original. And so what it is just kind of a basic blues lick idea. Play 16 on the G, bend that up a whole step, and then play 14 on the B, 14 high E, and 14 B again. Okay. And then pull off 17 to 14 on the B. Then go 17 on the G, and 14 B, and then 16 G, 14 B. Back to 17, 14, 17 G, 14 B. Back to 16 on the G, 14 B, and then this. So just a half step in there on 16. Lower it down to 16. So bend, lower it, and then 14 on the G string with the vibrato. So that whole lick. Alright, hopefully that makes sense. Now we're going to go to the next lick. Here's where that flat 5 comes in from the blues scale. So it goes. I think on the recording, on the demo, I went, which is the same thing as doing this. So you could do it either way. You could go, it's 14 on the D, 16 on the G, 16 on the D, 14 on the G, and that's 17, the flatted fifth from the blues scale on the G string. Now you can play this and then bend it up a whole step and then lower it down and then play 16, 14 on the G, or you can go play 17 on the G and play 14 on the B, which is the same note as bending this up a half step. So either way, I think on the tab I wrote it this way, so let's do it that way. So it's 16D, 14G, 17G, 14B, 17G, 16G, 14G. 16D, right to 17G, and then 14B, 17, 16, 14G, that's 16, 14, 16D, and then a vibrato on 16 on the D, and then 14 on the G. You can give that a little blues bend if you want. Alright, so here's those two, the previous lick and this lick put together. Let's see, let's do it from the top. Alright, next lick. This might be the trickiest lick of the bunch. Maybe not the trickiest, but the fastest. Let me slow it down for you to show what's going on. That's more full speed there. Again, right out of the F sharp minor blues box here. So I'm doing 14, hammer on 16, pull off to 14 on the D, and then go to the A string and play 16. Back to D, 14. 16, 15 on the A. You might just want to work on that. Make sure you get a little snap to it. Then you're going to go directly to the D string and pull off 16 to 14. And then play 16, 15, 14 on the A. 17 on the low E. That's the second part of it. So if you put them together, and then the last part, you go to 14 on the D, and then 16, 15, 14 on the A, and then 12, hammer on to 14, pull off to 12, and then 14 on the A. You can do a little pinch harmonic if you want to. So it'd be like, so if you put all that together at a medium tempo, you get this. Okay, now the next section. Again, you'll notice how much of this is right here in the F sharp minor box, right? This is old school, 1982. These guys were not yet to the high-tech 80s metal stuff. This was just at the very beginning of it, you know. So a lot of these guys were very influenced, you know, by the British blues guys and such. So you get a lot of this pentatonic stuff, and it sounds great still today. So there you go. Simplicity is sometimes the best choice. 17 on the B string. Bend that up 3 times. Slight vibrato there. Now this is an interesting lick. That's what it sounds like on the recording. He may have missed a note. It almost sounds like that. But hopefully when you listen to it, you'll agree. It's kind of a little strange sound in there. Not sure what happened, but I like this way to do it. Because it sounds like there's a little slide in there. And even if there wasn't, it sounds cool. Just know that your target note is going to be 14 on the D, on the A, sorry. And I'm sliding it from 14 to 12 with my ring finger there. From 16 to 14, man, I can't get my numbers right today. Bear with me. This is another reason to go get that tab over at Patreon, because sometimes I'm not that smart, so let's just be honest about it. All right, so here we go. 17 3 times, and then on the B, and then 14B, 17G, there's that flat 5 again, back to 14, and then 14B, and then we're going to do this. Pull off from 16 to 14 on the G, and then play 16 on the D, and then on 16 on the A, so I'm barring this, and then I'm going to play 16 on the A and slide it quickly to 14. So when I put my finger down, my ring finger, I'm already in place to do that. Hopefully that makes sense. And then this little gem of a lick, another strange one. It's got some chromaticism in it. And this is the way I'm hearing it and that I like to play it. To me, this kind of reminds me of a Randy Rhoads type of lick, which could be, there could be an influence there because those Ozzy albums came out before this, I'm pretty sure, right? Wasn't it 1980 for Blizzard and 81 for Diary? I think so. Anyway. That kind of chromaticism, you know, with Randy Rhoads was pretty common for him, and this is kind of a lick like that. But it goes 12 on the B, bend that up a whole step, and then go, let it down, and then go 10, 12, 10, hammer pull on the B, slide back to 9, then play 10 on the G, and then slide 9 back to 8 on the B, and play 9 on the G, and then back 8 to 7 on the B, and play 9 again. And we're going to bend that up immediately. But here's what we got before the bend. If you can mute on the G string, it sounds even cooler. Okay, so and that's the lick. When you get to that 9, you're going to bend it up immediately, bend it up a whole step, and then play 7 twice on the B, and then do that again, and then play 10 on the B, and then bend 9 again a whole step on the G with some vibrato. So it'll be like this. Now, if you put that together, that might be my favorite lick in this whole thing. I think I'm going to steal that one. So if we put these together, hopefully that makes sense. If I do this slow one more time. Now the ending, right? Here we go. Okay, so we're going to slide up, bend 17 up a whole step on the B, then play 14 high E, then 17 on the high E. We're going to bend that up a whole step and lower it down slowly. So we get and then we've got this kind of triple lick that comes out of it. Okay, now here's where the improv comes in, right? At least for as far as I'm concerned, and how I would do it live. That's where it comes in, is right at the end of this triplet part. But before we do that, I'm going to show you the tab way. So here it goes. So well, let's call those out first. So the once you bend 17 in the high E and let that down, then you're going to play 14, hammer 17 back to 14, 17 B, 14 high E, 17 B, 14 B, pull off there, then 17, pull off to 14 again on the B, 17 on the G, there's that flat 5, back to B, 14, back to 17 G. Now, we're going to do this. That's a little slight bend on 16 on the G, and then 14 B, 14 high E, 14 B, 17 B, pull off to 14. That's the lick. Then do that again. Okay, so then we're going to do 16, bend that up, and play, skip over to the high E and play 14, and then on the high E, and then play 14 on the B. So to reiterate, we're going to play 16 on the G, bend that up a whole step, then play 14 on the high E, 14, and then 14 B. And then you're going to pull off 17 to 14 high E. So that lick is... So what we have so far is... Now we're going to do this, 16, bend up a whole step on the G again, and then 14 high E, 14 B, 14 high E. Then 17 B, 14 high E, and then 14 B, 17, pull off to 14 on the B, then 16 G, 14 B, 17 G, 14 B, 16, bend a whole step. Okay, that's the last bend of the solo before the kill switch thing that happens at the end of it. So let's go through the ending. So kind of weird, kind of random. It works if you want to try and learn it that way. Be my guest. I think it's interesting. You'll get a little taste into some unorthodox ways to play blues licks. But if you listen to how Glenn does it now and how I've heard Richie Faulkner do it, he doesn't even mess around with that. He plays something totally different. You'll see why. It's because it's sort of awkward. And to me, it wasn't really worth memorizing it because I know it was just off the cuff. The original guy doesn't even play that anymore. But in the interest of accuracy, I've written it out for you on the tab so you can do that. Now, what I will say is you take note of the context that's going on here. And what's happening is that we're playing F sharp minor pentatonic and blues scale in this position, and it's coming to a crescendo. So we start out with this kind of the slow, and then it sort of takes off. And that's like something I would do to end it. Now, this part is in there, but it sounds like the solo basically because I'm playing the same notes from the same scale, just in maybe a different order, right? And so that the flavor of it is still similar, but the execution of it is personal to me. So that's what I would recommend for you guys to do, is to try to find a cool way to improvise that last lick. If you want to go ahead and learn the original, it's there for you. But like I said, it's a good exercise, if nothing else, to try and come up with your own thing there. Come up with your own way to do it. So there you have the whole entire solo, except for now when we get to the end there, we bend 16 up a whole step. We're going to do a double stop here. So the bend is on 16 on the G, but then when you get to the top of it, you play a double stop where you pick 16 while it's bent, add 17 on the B with your pinky, and then start picking that and lower 16 down. That's what to do if you don't have a kill switch. Kill switch is a switch on the guitar, usually right here, where you toggle it on and off, and when you toggle it, it cuts off the sound, and so you get that you kind of get that intermittent sound, and that's what that sound is on the recording. But if you don't have that, you can sort of emulate it by going where when you play it and then it cuts out, right? Especially without all that delay on there. And slowly lower it down and then just play 14 on the G to end it. And that's the entire solo. This is a classic. There's some really cool licks in here, and it's well worth your time in exploring it, investigating it, trying to put all these phrases together. That's how I had to approach it when I learned it. Take the intro, then add the next lick, then add the next lick, then add the next lick, then try to piece all that together. Then move on to the second half of the solo. You can hear where the chord progression changes. I would take that first half and work on that. Then take the second half, work on that, and then maybe try to stick them together. So have a lot of fun with this. I'll remind you that you can get the tab over at my Patreon for this lesson. And don't forget about 5 blistering licks to light up your fretboard. Free gift, you can check that out as well. I will see you next time. Go listen to some Priest.